Effective teaching requires an instructional approach that acknowledges all students, regardless of lived experience or racial and ethnic identity, have options to learn in an online environment in ways that work best for them. Because of structural inequities that exist for students of color, designing and teaching online courses requires equity consciousness, a targeted approach that purposely promotes culturally inclusive practices to improve the student learning experience and student success. In online career and technical education, or CTE programs, this means engaging in a deliberate process to design courses in a way that meets the needs of every student. This video describes one strategy for embedding principles of equity and inclusion into online CTE courses called Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. UDL is an accepted and trusted framework for developing effective teaching strategies. Developed by the Center for Applied Special Technology, or CAST, UDL's approach of designing learning experiences for all students embodies the principles of culturally responsive teaching to promote equity in course design. UDL provides many guidelines for instructors, but this video will provide a brief introduction to the main concepts and help direct interested faculty on where to go to learn more. Before diving in, it's important to acknowledge that online instruction can occur in many different formats, depending on the needs of the institution, the curriculum, and the students. For a quick overview of different online course modalities, from fully online to hybrid and blended learning, please see the links in the video description. Now, let's get started exploring how UDL can create a more equitable learning experience for all students. The UDL framework is not a standardized approach to teaching. Rather, it's a flexible way to approach instruction that encourages you to create and deliver course material in ways that allow you to differentiate online instruction based on students' learning styles and course readiness, so a more equitable and relevant experience can be provided. By using UDL as a blueprint for designing your course, the one-size-fits-all model that so often appears in online learning environments can be avoided. UDL empowers instructors to create multiple ways to deliver course materials and design meaningful learning experiences to reach your students' specific needs. When designing your course, it can be helpful to keep the following three main principles of UDL in mind. According to the UDL framework, it is effective to provide students with multiple means of representation, or what students are learning, multiple means of actions and expressions, or work that is created by students, multiple means of engagement, or what motivates us to learn and why. The key to UDL is to create options. Providing students with options and alternatives aligned with how they process course content and in how they choose to demonstrate content mastery can help create an equitable experience for all students. For example, when following the guidelines for providing students with multiple means of representation, try to create and provide various learning options for students to enhance perception and improve comprehension. A practical way to understand the guidelines of multiple means of representation is to think of how you can express information to students by employing a variety of different approaches to express the same concept. Consider the effect of providing a transcript along with a podcast describing a day in the life of a nurse to a licensed practical nursing student. You are delivering the same information in two separate modalities, auditory and visual. Different students will gravitate towards the medium that best aligns with their learning style. Another example of providing an LPN program student with multiple means of representation would be providing a lecture video in an Introduction to Human Anatomy course that covers the same content on anatomical terminology provided in a written textbook chapter. Providing various mediums helps to offer alternatives that allows students to choose between learning methods that work best for them. Following this same line of reasoning, when it's time for students to demonstrate their competency back to you, as the instructor, when possible, consider allowing students to select the format that most appeals to them. This could include allowing them to select the medium they would like to use to create their assignments. For example, if a licensed practical nursing student needs to demonstrate their understanding of safe practices for administering medications, could this be done in a research paper or in a video presentation? Instead of only allowing students just one option of writing a paper, you could allow them to submit a video to fulfill that requirement. Inherent in this form of course design is the idea that when it is appropriate to the assignment, students should have a choice in which method works best for them. According to the UDL framework and many other adult learning theories, engagement occurs when students are interested, persistent, and intrinsically motivated. Online CTE students are on average older, more likely to be parenting, and more likely to be working full-time while enrolled in school than community college students overall. Students are likely to be juggling many demands, which makes effective engagement all the more important. A pivotal guideline under the representation theme in the UDL framework reminds us that adult learners learn best when new concepts activate prior knowledge. Indeed, it is easier for learners to comprehend or process information when they connect that new information with something they already know. However, students don't always know their prior knowledge is relevant. This knowledge must be activated. A practical way to foster these connections with student knowledge is to embed prerequisite information and concepts into graphic organizers and guides that support students in processing and visualizing concepts. If we return to our example of an LPN student, this could consist of incorporating prerequisite content for tasks in a variety of ways, such as an infographic or job aid, along with instructions for an assignment to help build foundational support. Universal Design for Learning is a helpful framework for instructors who are looking to create highly effective and engaging online learning environments and who want to incorporate more principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion in their online courses. Incorporating the UDL framework should be transformative and expand the way we think about how others learn best. By evaluating the ways information and content is delivered to students in online CTE courses, we can begin to acknowledge the areas where additional supports can be provided to reduce inequities for students of color and other students who have been historically excluded or underrepresented. Don't be overwhelmed with updating or creating a course that employs UDL principles all at once. Incorporate UDL concepts slowly, perhaps by focusing on just one UDL guideline at a time. As you continue with UDL, it will become organic, and you will find yourself implementing the principles more and more. Access the links in the video description for more information and resources on how to get started with UDL to improve your CTE online course design and create a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment for students.